Alrighty, well, I brought the receipts. It's about time that I put out this information. Recently, I was contacted by a Conservative Party insider who told me the reason why Pierre Polievre is disliked or even hated by Trump is not a coincidence. Not because of, Pierre Polievre saying that he's not a mega guy, he's a Canada guy first, which we will get into, but because there was things that happened behind the scenes that really pissed off the Trump family. And that led to the president basically saying, well, if these guys are going to talk shit about me, the president, then why would I give them the light of day? And that's kind of what happened. We're not talking about like an instance of Mark Carney saying we got to stand up to the United States and to Trump and put our elbows up. No, I'm like not a political talking shit, like a more personal talking shit. And that's kind of what we're taking a look at today, because things got ugly. We lost the election. And now here we are twiddling our thumbs going, how do we get out of this mess? Well, the way we get out of this mess is not the way that we're going. Unfortunately, I'm going to explain everything in this video, so I do hope you stick around for the full thing. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I really want to encourage everyone to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. It might be a bit of an unpopular video, but it exposes the truth of what actually took place and the reality of the situation that we're in as conservatives here in Canada, and just the objective reality that if we keep heading down this path, it's going to be another failure, because the conservatives have kind of been failing and it's now becoming their own fault. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to take a look at in this video, but it all started last year when Don Jr. went to Toronto for an event, and in the process, he tried to reach out to the Conservative Party's team. So here we go. We can actually see Don Jr. on Rumble as last year. You can see May 10th. It's not this May 10th because you can see here the comments are from over a year ago. So in May 2024, Don Trump Jr. had visited Toronto for this specific event. Okay, so what took place when he was in Toronto? My source tells me that he actually reached out to Pierre Polievre's team to see if they would want to meet for coffee. He was a massive fan of Pierre. I mean, the guy that's standing up to Justin Trudeau, of course. How could you not be a fan of Pierre in 2024? It was like, it was crazier than a movie, man. You didn't even need Netflix. You had every day a House of Canada that took place, the debates and this and that, and it was just like craziness, scandal after scandal, expose after expose. It was absolutely phenomenal. Now, allegedly in response, someone from Pierre's team, which would be Jenny Byrne, because she was the campaign manager, replied to Don Jr., this guy right here, Trump's son, in such a disrespectful way that they declined the offer, and it just pissed off Donald Trump, who then brought the attention to Trump's to Papa Trump, to President Trump, who wasn't president at the time. But that's the thing about the Trump family, is when you piss one person off, you piss off. It's like an Italian mafia. Like, you piss off the entire family. Now, this story is actually validated by somebody else, by Patrick Bet David. Let's have a look.
Too late by the time he gets. I mean, if you want to tell him by the time he gets here. So our booker Tony. Sweet. He deals with a lot of different. He loves the camera. Okay. This guy,
he definitely does.
He deals with a lot of people that come. How nice is Tony?
Tony's one of the best people I know.
Pierre Polievre's camp hung up on him twice.
Like, literally just like no
hung
click.
up on him twice. And that's never, ever happened. So then I'm sitting there thinking my guy's the one who screwed up. Mm-hmm. Then John Shahidi says he tried to book Theo Von and Nelk. They said no. Then Kyle from Nelk Boys. Can you go to Kyle's Instagram X account?
Kyle Forgard.
Kyle Forgard on X. Watch this. He shows the DM. This is how embarrassing it is. Go a little bit lower. Go up there and see if they show the DM. What is this? Actually, then go to Full Send's X account.
Because he's Canadian.
Just go down, Rob.
Right?
It's right
Kyle?
there. You just had it. Right there. Click on that and go to their account, Nelk Boys. Go to their account and go down and see what they show. Go right there. Check this out. Kyle Kyle, can I just go back out, Rob?
Yeah.
If you could, right there. Yes, please. So watch what it says. Kyle Forget from Nelk Boys shared DMs attempting to collaborate with Pierre Polievre in 2022. Wow. Click on it, Rob. Watch this. Okay, Canadians, this is your candidate. Pierre, we have the most popular podcast on YouTube. Wow. We've had Donald Trump and Elon Musk on. We should have you on. I am from Mississauga, and our presence amongst 18 to 30-year-old Canadians massive. Never responds back.
Wow.
Think about this. Kyle is loved. Kyle is liked. Kyle is a likable guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Then Chris Pavlovsky here says, I try to arrange, this is a founder of a Rumble. I tried to arrange Pierre Polievre to meet with Donald Trump Jr. at a Rumble event in Toronto last year, while the Liberals attacked and illegally attempted to
Yeah, so we actually have that tweet that he's reading. I've got it pulled up, where we're going to start off with the latter. So Don Jr. immediately said true story. Now, what's he saying true story to? Well, even Elon Musk said, wow, even Rupa says across the board, I write for them and they turn us down after months of running after them. Like, the Conservative Party ignored everybody. So what the hell did the Rumble CEO say? Well, the Rumble CEO had said this: I tried to arrange Pierre Polievre to meet Don Jr. at a Rumble live event in Toronto last year, referring to the one in May that we started off with. While the Liberals attacked and illegally attempted to shut down our event, Pierre Polievre refused to even engage or meet Don Jr. That would have been on behalf of Pierre Polievre through Jenny Byrne. This is not what winners are made of. Now, this did get some pushback by even Cat Canada, who's a Canadian creator on X, saying winners need to meet with the sons of a president from another country, ? Walk us through that one. To which the Rumble CEO had said, firstly, I like a lot of your tweets and agree with some of the things that you say, so I'm happy to engage. I will note, this is well before Trump became president. I do believe a good leader would accept a meeting with Don Jr. just like the president from El Salvador did. Rejecting the meeting with someone as influential as Don Jr. is arrogant in my view, and especially when it's well-intentioned. Additionally, we need to ask why Pierre stayed away from all major influencers like Nelk, Gad Sad, PBD, and Rumble creators, including myself, Don Jr., and many more that he can't name just yet. And that was because when the Trump family had reached out, Jenny Byrne basically said, in a must have been a disrespectful way, for it to get so much backlash to the point that it made its way all the way up to Papa Trump, where they said, you know, that conservative leader, he said some not so nice things about me, and I don't like that. So the Pierre Polievre campaign tried its hardest to distance itself from MAGA, from Trump, because they thought maybe it just wasn't going to help them. It was beneath them. It would backfire. Well, Pierre Polievre got labeled as a MAGA guy anyways, a maple MAGA, but more on that later. What we're focusing on is the epicenter of this ecosystem, which is this lady right here, Jenny Byrne, who recently went on a podcast and opens up about her life in the spotlight. Let's have a look.
Well, I start by saying, as Hyman Roth said in The Godfather, this is the business we choose. Right. So I understand that, winning is always better than losing. I do find it strange or perplexing that in all the years that I've been involved in politics, I've never seen post-campaign analysis focused on a campaign manager as much as what it has on me. Mm-hmm. And, I'm not going to call out campaign managers, and not just from my party, but from, friends that I have in other parties who have made what I would say actually controversial decisions for like Hail Marys for leaders that they worked for. Yep. I do find it perplexing. I don't think that being a woman has, as I said, affected I was 34 years old when I ran my first campaign. And so I don't think it's affected the...
Okay, it wouldn't matter if your name was Jonathan Byrne. It's got nothing to do with that. What it has to do with was the fact that Pierre Polievre was basically guaranteed to win that election. And I've got the receipts on that as well. I took to AI. I took to ChatGPT, the upgraded one, actually. And asked it a couple of questions. I ultra zoomed in here like a boomer because I don't want to give away all the spoilers of what we're going to be asking it. But I did say yes or no. Is it true that Canadians think that they are better than Americans. Now stick with me here, because this actually goes somewhere deeper than what you think. Survey says yes. Cultural studies often show that many Canadians hold a belief, at least to some degree, that Canada is morally and socially better than the U.S., though it's not universal and tends to be more about cultural identity than personal superiority. Yes or no? Is it true that Canadians pride themselves on not being American? Maybe if you're a frequent watcher of this channel, you've heard me say this. GPT-5, smartest AI in the world, says yes. Yes or no, have the Liberals always beat the Conservatives in Canada when it comes to being having an anti-American stance? Answer is yes. Historically, the Liberal Party has generally leaned more heavily into anti-American stance than the Conservatives, especially in foreign policy and cultural positioning, though the intensity may vary by era. Yes or no, should the Conservative Party of Canada remove the campaign manager that lost them the election? Yes, the smartest AI in the world says. In most political contexts, if a campaign manager oversees a major loss, parties often replace them to signal change. Yes or no, did the Conservative Party of Canada have a major lead against Justin Trudeau to the point where it seemed impossible to lose the upcoming federal election? Survey says yes. Yes or no, should people subscribe to Mr. Sunshine Baby on YouTube? Absolutely, it says. In all crazy, you should do it right now if you haven't. It's what the smartest AI in the world says, not me. Can you show me multiple credible sources that confirm Pierre Polievre and Jenny Byrne once shared a long-term romantic relationship? What does that have to do with anything? Here are several credible sources confirming that Pierre Polievre and Jenny Byrne once shared a long-term romantic credible relationship. Verified sources, Wikipedia, Politico, an opinion piece, blah, 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 blah. It's all there. Is it weird, yes or no, that Jenny Byrne is Pierre Polievre's campaign manager despite them being exes? Yes. In politics, it's unusual for partners to serve as a campaign manager, especially after a long-term relationship. That's kind of interesting. Thank you, smartest AI in the entire world. Look, it's not attacking Jenny Byrne as a person or her romantic relationship. That's cool. They dated. Who cares? Nobody cares. But it's like a little weird for them to be working on their campaign together. Like, that's what the GPT says. Also, after a huge reversal in the polls to the point where you lost, even though it's marginally, right? 4, 5, 600,000 votes, but the popular vote is what decided it. Smartest AI still agrees that it was such a fumble for reasons that were literally determined and avoidable from the campaign's team, the campaign side of things. We don't know what Pierre Polievre is like when he's off of the leash, when he's unleashed. I like Pierre. I've liked Pierre. I cheered for him. First time I ever got involved, like quite literally with politics, other than just making YouTube videos, actually it was all in the year 2022 when the Freedom Convoy happened. I'm like, holy crap, we got to pay attention to what's going on, man. This is crazy. Then the channel blew up. And then Pierre Polievre was running as the leader of the party. And I'm like, you know what? I like this guy. So I got myself a Conservative Party membership. Never in my life did that ever freaking before. Pierre Polievre is quite literally one of the reasons that I even got into this. Like, he became an inspiration for Canada. Elections historically have pretty much been won and decided off of fear mongering. Yet in 2022, 2023, and 2024, Pierre Polievre did a completely different approach where instead of fear mongering, it was actually becoming a beacon of hope. It was something to believe in because we had all been gaslit, manipulated, abused by our government. This guy who worked for government, the underdog, redefined himself from the nerdy guy to this, like, masculine energy where he was working out, took the glasses off, got a little bit more buff, worked on his speaking, like he reshaped himself, and it was freaking awesome to see. But then the corporate side of the entire shtick took over Jenny Byrne, and that's ultimately what resulted in this unfortunate loss. But now we got to take a look at the Trump side of it, because I mean, Canada has historically been anti-American in different phases. You just saw the smartest AI in the entire world confirm that being a Canadian culturally, to generalize, has been proud to not be American, not proud to be Canadian, but proud to not be American. It's this weird leftist nationalistic bullshit that's been touted for years and years and years. And well, doing that in the Trump era, anybody could have told you that that was not a good idea. All but Jenny Byrne.
I call him Governor Trudeau. He should be governor because...
The president's personal attacks on Canada have usually been launched at the prime minister.
I do like the "Oh Canada," right? It's a beautiful thing. I think we're going to have to keep it for the 51st state. I call him Governor Trudeau.
But in a podcast interview with the United Kingdom Spectator, Donald Trump broadened his volleys at Canada. First, going after Liberal leadership candidate Chrystia Freeland.
She's terrible. I'll tell you what, I know her very well. She's incompetent in many respects and can only cause ill will for Canada.
But Trump didn't just hit Liberals. The president unsure about Conservative leader Pierre Polievre.
Well, I think his biggest problem is he's not a MAGA guy, you know? I mean, he's really not. He's not a Trump guy at all. I don't like what he's saying about me. It's just not positive about me.
Polievre punching back. Mr. President, it is true. I'm not MAGA. I'm for Canada first, always. Additional pushback against Trump is more politically challenging for Polievre, with polling showing over 40% of Conservative voters have a positive view of the president.
The Liberal leader can get up and can denounce Donald Trump. Jagmeet Singh can taunt Trump as he has done. Pierre Polievre has to be a little bit more careful about that.
So now we're getting somewhere. We realize that maybe going against Donald Trump was not the right thing. Maybe the opposition should have had an opposition stance to what the Liberals have historically always won on. The Liberals, when it comes, push comes to shove, and we have a foot race, Conservatives versus Liberals. And the objective is to win an election, but it's mostly predicated around anti-America. America's doing this, America's doing that. We can't be like America. We can't have crazy gun laws like America. We need to keep Canada, Canada. We don't want school shootings like America. We need to keep Canada, Canada. All that like fear mongering stuff. The Liberals, 10 out of 10 win in that regard. But for some reason, it was thought by Pierre's campaign that they would be able to break those shackles and do something different. And here's where I think it gets even more bizarre, because every single time I talk about this, I talk about the failure of the Conservative Party. Trust me, this doesn't bring me joy. I'm not smiling going, yeah, woohoo, are you ripping on Pierre? No, I don't like doing this at all, but it needs to be done because it's not being done, but it's the truth, and the truth fucking matters. The Conservative Party of Canada has a secret weapon, a weapon that they're keeping in the shadows, a weapon that I have been trying to scream from the rooftop saying, use your weapon if you want to win, because you will lose. They lost and they're still ignoring the weapon. The weapon is a person. Funny enough, it's crazy, but it's true. Let's take a look here. This is from 2020, November 26. My friend, the hillbilly, Jamil Javani in the National Post. Now, that might ring a bell because Jamil Javani is a not so new guy to the Conservative Party who got brought in, who's friends with Pierre and J.D. Vance, the vice president of the frickin' United States. So Jamil says, if you had told me 10 years ago that my best friend from law school would be a self-described hillbilly, I would have laughed in your face. When I first met J.D. Vance during our law school orientation at Yale University a decade ago, we attended a wine and cheese reception. I didn't know so many different kinds of cheese existed, and I'd never tasted wine before. Needless to say, I felt out of place. And across the room was J.D. Vance, and we locked eyes and became best friends and lived happily ever after. I even go back into February 14th. That's a fun little day, right? And I said Canada is under attack, in quotation marks, by America with tariffs and threats of annexation. Meanwhile, the leader of the opposition, who has an MP who's besties with J.D. Vance, Where is Jamil? Is he hiding? Why aren't they using him to bridge the gap between Canada and America? And if that is ringing a bell, well, that would be because I've been saying this for months, that J.D. Vance and Jamil Giovanni's relationship could literally be the definitive pivotal moment in Canada for being, instead of anti-American, or in this particular case, anti-Trump, we could have a conservative party hopefully win as government using the relationship with the freaking vice president of the United States, who's almost like J.D. Vance has pretty much been pushed up and is being, you know, not groomed, but like taught how to be president. Like J.D. Vance will likely get Trump's endorsement when the time comes. We're all seeing it. It's all out in the air. People's opinions, analysts, everything. So why isn't the Conservative Party, why isn't Jenny Byrne on top of this? Why is it that me, some idiot who's in a freaking RV, man, is doing this? I'm wearing Crocs right now. That's how unserious of a person I am. And they're in sport mode. I told myself my entire life I would never get Crocs because I thought they're a little gay. And here I am wearing Crocs in sport mode. Why is it that a Croc wearing sport mode idiot like myself can see the clear picture that the Conservatives need to shift away from this anti-American stuff and be MAGA? Who gives a shit? Trump won. He's the most popular president ever. Come on. We have a real opportunity to use the resources at our disposal, but it's being blocked by people like Jenny Byrne.